topics in Islam we don't pay enough attention to it is the topic of happiness. We talked a little bit before about this. I would like to elaborate it and go to the details. Sometimes our lives are out of balance, that even our ibadah doesn't have that much pleasures for us. No matter how much financially, how much we're stable, no matter how family-wise we're good, sometimes we don't see the progress in life, in our mood, our feelings, because we don't have balance between, these two topics, the topic of happiness and also sadness. Sometimes the regular mood that we have, ordinary feelings that we have, is more than having good feelings in life. A very sincere question, a very simple question as well. As parents, the first thing that you want for your parents, for your children, after Iman and everything else, the main thing you want for them is happiness. You want them to be happy. You know that if you give them $1 million, but they are not happy, it's not worth it. Spouses are the same. They want their friends as well. You want your friend to be happy with you, right? You want your son, when you're with your son, when you hug, you'll be happy and he will be happy as well, right? This feeling of happiness is important. It's exactly the same feeling of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for us as well. He wants his ibad, he wants his children, he wants this way that I'm putting, he wants his family. نَحْنُ عَيَالُ اللَّهِ, we're the family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? He wants his ibad to be happy. That's what some people misunderstand. They think now Allah wants us all to sit down and cry. I will sit down and be sad. This is disrespecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if He says, I give this much rizq to you, even little bit, I want you to be content. Qana'ah means be happy with what you have. Be satisfied. Let's put in different words, right? Be satisfied with what I provided for you. This is the topic. So sometimes you see that nothing makes us happy. Nothing makes our family happy. We have to look at this. Number one, do we have enough happiness in life? Second, what kind of happiness we have in life? This is another thing. Some people are having many fun activities, but still don't feel happy. And if we don't have it, how we can have it? One of the main things that when you pay attention is that according to Islam, happiness, joyfulness, we have two different aspects. One positive happiness, one negative. How many of you guys thought about this and heard about this so far? Raise your hand. MashaAllah. One. Can you give me some examples based on just your ideas? What comes to your mind immediately? Don't think about it. What can be negative happiness? Go ahead.
I think where you are thinking you are making fun of someone and it's bringing them to tears.
Good.
And other people are laughing about it.
Very good example. What else? You make joke, about your wife. Sometimes they shouldn't, or your husband. I have many clients. They have issue. Just the way that he jokes, very rude. But that's fine. I mean, it was fun. You have to be. In Islam, it says we have two different happiness. One positive happiness that would help you. Negative happiness that is totally, exactly reverse result. It will have consequences for you. We said this hadith before. That hadith says, Al-mu'minun da'imun nashatuhu. Mu'min should be always cheerful. It doesn't mean that mu'min should always laugh. You see what I'm saying? Matter of fact, laughing in Islam is not recommended. Laughing out loud all the time, lavishly not know what to do. This is not really recommended. But on the other side, al-mu'min da'imun nashatuhu. Mu'min always have a nice smile. The Rasulullah, the same thing we mentioned many times. Ahlul Bayt always, they have nice. It's not your fault if I have something outside, come here frowning and having. It's not my family's fault if I go home, I had some issue in my work, I go home. It's not their fault. No? This is what. But let me give you the signs of negative happiness. that sometimes we might see around us, inshallah not in our lives. Around us, some people try to be happy with those things, but actually they're opposite. Number one, I'm going to give you a rule of thumb. Any activities, any happy events, anything that is going to be against wisdom, aql, your intellect, or shara, Islam, that is a negative happiness. Very easy. Number one, when it comes to aql and wisdom. Example, Islam is saying, aql is saying, intoxicant drugs are harmful for you. No matter how much you're trying to justify it, if you just smoke once, you're going to fly into the moon and you come back, and unfortunately somehow they justify it. Aql is saying, nowadays it's because we have different types, you know, chemical, organic, natural, and unfortunately sometimes you see in the societies are making it, you know, legal as well. But if you smoke, your brain is going to work much better. I know that every 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. in the parking lot in my university here in, you know, Southern California, we see the windows are up and people are high as well. Because your brain is going to work better. But you know that you go up and then how you will fall down, you know that. Aql is saying that's, Shari is saying that's haram. Any kinds of it, Shari is saying that's haram, right? So you have to get away from it. And that's not going to bring a positive happiness to you. At the moment, yes, you might feel something, but the consequence of that would put you down actually. Anything that is dangerous. Second, emotionally or physically. Look some of these challenges that we see in social media and, you know, I don't know, like other channels. Some challenges that are actually physically or emotionally harmful. I'm going to give some more examples. This is not actually a positive, is negative happiness actually. Anything too much of that type of happiness is negative. You sit down with your whole family, very halal, everything is fine. If it's too much, that's negative. Too much laughing, too much spending time, too much, you feel like there's nothing else, you're just wasting your time. And when you ask, we just waste time. That's again, by wisdom is saying don't waste time. Enough, that's fine. Enough is good, we have to have enough, whatever is needed for that time, you know. Something that has negative outcomes. Let me give you some other examples. The sister said this well. Sometimes group of family or others, friends, they sit next to each other and they start making fun of someone else. It's fine, everything, it's fun as everybody would laugh at that person. It's not positive for you who you're doing it and saying it, and it's not positive for the one who you're doing against. At the beginning everybody laughed, but you break someone's heart. It definitely, usually ends in discriminations, you know. This region, that region, you're from that city, I'm from this city, you know. People in that region, unfortunately we have it in all cultures. In all countries we have this. Oh, you're from that region. The root of that is discrimination. Yeah, it's so bad, discrimination. Huh? The main characteristics of who? Bani Umayyah. Quraysh. We're from Quraysh, we're better than you guys. The same thing when it goes to the marriage, sometimes. That if that person doesn't practice, doesn't have iman, doesn't have anything, that's fine. Unless, at least he is from the same region that I am from. We have to see what is Islam saying, right? Our main culture is the culture of what? Ahlul Bayt. The culture of Islam, the culture of Quran. When Rasulullah came, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, before the Rasul of Rasulullah, it was what? Asr al-Jahiliyyah, era of ignorance, right? When he came, many people rejected him because some of these things. No, you can't. Why you should do this? And when Rasulullah says, Quran says, why you're not doing the right things, you know what was their analogy? Our fathers were doing this. We can't leave what our fathers were doing. Still hear a lot of things nowadays. Exactly the same analogy. But our fathers are doing this. Our fathers did this. What is Islam? What do we have to do? What is We have to move forward, not backward. Not even stay in the same place, right? We have to understand this thing. We have to move forward. So this usually leads with discrimination, these type of things. It makes fun of someone else or do something else. Let me tell you what I learned from the ahadith and ayat of Quran is that there are certain amal and certain words make layers over your heart. When you do them, you don't even realize sometimes. It will make you feel dark. It will make you feel bad about everything. Another layer in front of your qalb, your heart, that you're supposed to be the receivers of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would make another layer in front of it. You lie one time, you put one layer. You backbite, another layer. You can use different examples and analogies. As Rasulullah says, your heart, when you are born, is like a very beautiful white blank page in paper. With the first sin and haram you do, you put one single dot on top of it, in the middle of that. Every single sin you commit, you put another dot. We're not born with original sin, we are creating more and more for it. Then imagine this face, this tablet, how much dots you put in. Sometimes you, oh my God, it's all dark now. You know? So when you see this, every single thing, so you make fun of someone, the majlis is very nice, everybody's laughing and everything. You go out, you're not happy. You cry for Imam Hussein, you cry, you go out, you feel good. In the majlis of Imam Hussein, after majlis, you feel everybody is so happy, everybody is so energetic. But after some haram majlis, they go out, they fight in the car with each other. They're so sensitive. Psychologically, they're just angry. Some fights would happen between them. Another example was against shara as well, which unfortunately is happening a lot. Having fun and joke with non-mahram. Sometimes within our families, because we say, oh, they're cousins or someone else or something else, or maybe someone else that are non-mahram, we think if we joke with them, so we're just family. Yes, we're family, but let's observe the boundaries that Islam says. If Islam says, then Islam says. You have to be careful sometimes. Specifically, those who are, to understand these things more, specifically the elders in the community and within the family, remind the community and the family about these things. These are the basics. Sometimes, as I said, doing something wrong can be like a chain. You pull, the other wrong things would happen as well. It will add into the family, the culture of the family, the iman of the family, many other things, come after another one. Let me give you a practical example. Doesn't matter, chatting or talking or in person over the phone. Years ago, there was a istifta, a hukm came, a question they asked Raja about chatting with non-mahram. At that time, chat rooms were very... Chatting with non-mahram, not even talking, chatting. The majority of them says, if it's not necessary, it's haram, you should not chat with non-mahram. At the beginning, I was like, many people were thinking about this. Why? It's just chatting, we're not doing anything, that's fine, we're controlling ourselves. And somehow we were answering until I had a few clients that I realized Islam is looking for prevention, not necessarily treatment. After getting married, the guy or someone else, they were used to, addicted to chat with someone else. They were still in a beautiful relationship, they couldn't control themselves. It was addiction. I have to chat with someone else. Nice wife, everything is beautiful. 2 weeks after marriage, he started chatting with the friends of his wife. You know what I mean by chatting, not addiction. Many of the Islamic regulation we have is about be careful. That leads you to something else that you cannot control it. Allah, he was getting divorced. They were getting divorced. Many clients now because of this. Islam says this. In the movies you see as well, in Hollywood movies as well. It always starts from somewhere. It always starts from a joke. It always starts from something, quote unquote, funny and happy. But where it leads to, Islam says be careful. Islam says, I'm not thinking about today, not your life right now. I'm thinking about your children as well. Your marriage, your children, your next generation, yourself, your mentality, your mental health, your physical health. I'm thinking about all these things. I'm thinking overall what is good for you, what is not good for you. So another thing is important, we have to pay attention. Gambling, it's fun, quote unquote, in secular life. But if I tell you I have some people that they are struggling with this, addiction. The wrong things and the dangerous part of it is that it leads to addiction. People get addicted to have this type of... That person who jokes and disrespects someone else in the community or in the family meetings will get addicted to this, become a habit for them. They can't control themselves anymore. Believe me. As soon as he sits down, she sits down, they have to. It likes ghaibah. Ghaibah for some people, because we have different stages. At the beginning, that person starts just trying it. You know? When they try a little bit more, they like that thing. When they like it, they continue more and more, they become habit, and they become addiction. You see this side? Someone who is a criminal, the first person who he hears, it's just he might have a bad feeling about this as well. And the more and more and more, it ends up with killing many people because they got used to this. We had the topic of habits. The worst part of haram is that haram becomes a habit for us. You know, ghaibah. Some people, as soon as he or she sits down, they have to do ghaibah. They can. They know that's wrong, but they can control themselves. You see what I'm saying? That's the dangerous part. It becomes habit. Then that's too difficult to control that. You know, that's why we have to stop it that way. Haram money, haram achievement, haram anything that is again against the order. Because again, when we say Islam against Shara, against Islam, what that means? Because we have to receive blessings and benefits from the source of that. It's up to you, you know, where you want to get it from. But if you want to have that pure water, you better go to the source of the water. If you want to get the main and true happiness, you better get it from what? The source of happiness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You never see any of Ahlul Bayt with all those difficulties they had. And in parentheses, again, sometimes we just focus on those tragedies. Yeah, Ahlul Bayt, you know, unfortunately, I feel bad for them all the time, you know, sadness and difficulties and problems and issues. No, that was not the only part of the life they had. They had a lot of fun in their lives. They had a lot of jokes. They were going out together. Imam Ali says, Rasulullah, they were going out to vacation together. Unfortunately, what we hear only about Ahlul Bayt is only during Muharram and Safar is about the masa'ib of Ahlul Bayt, the masa'ib of Imam Hussain. So you mean he didn't have fun at all in his life? So he should be depressed by now. They had fun, they had family, they have nice. That's when we have to talk about those things as well. In their language, the way that they talk to each other, we see that as well, that it shows itself, right? So, one of the important part of it is that we have to get it from the source of happiness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ahlul Bayt, so parenthesis close, with all those even tragedies they had, you never hear any of them had mental, you know, difficulties or depression or anxiety or anything. How is it even possible? Because the human body, when go through these things, should react somehow. By what? By anxiety, depression, something. Why is not happening? Because they're connected to the source of happiness. Besides that, they have their own physical happiness in life as well. In Islam, we have that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and hadith we have that they are saying, sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. They're saying, pay attention to the nature. Go to the nature. Smell flowers. Smell good perfume. It's mustahab. Rasulullah says, few things in this dunya makes me, I like about this dunya. One, salat. Second, woman. Third, atin and perfume. Salat, which is important. Women, because they're so neglected in that society. Rasulullah is bringing them back to society. They are important, right? Third, perfume. I had a talk with a doctor, one of my friends in University of Loma Linda. He's a biologist. He was the head of the department, I think, at that hospital. He said, did you know that the effect of good smells on our health? And he was referring to this, he was Shia, he was referring to this hadith from Rasul. It says, it will add, inshallah if you Google it, it will add into your health when you smell, specifically if it's natural smells, flowers. Islam says, go out, have fun, see nature, look at nature. Islam is talking about colors. It says, pay attention to colors. Did you know that? Look how many times in Quran it talks about colors. Safra and Khazra. The best colors, what are the best colors we have? You know, Islam says this brings happiness. Certain colors bring happiness, certain colors bring sadness. You know that. Certain colors make you agitated. We talked about this the other day. The color blue makes you happy, calm. Why Allah made the sky blue, right? Red makes you agitated. Make you agitated. You want to leave. So we'll change this soon. I know that. There was a story about, you know, the phone kiosks. At that time, no one had the cell phone. They had the, you know, phone kiosk. Before it was yellow, it's an example in psychology. Before it was yellow, and they saw that people are spending a lot of time in the kiosk, and they're talking to someone else. They're not coming, and there's a long line, you know, waiting for them. We have a branch in psychology called IO, industrial psychology. Industrial organizational psychology. It's related to this type of things, companies. They said, what should we do? Remove them or add more or something? He says, no, cheap things. Make the color in red. Because color in red makes people agitated, they have to leave soon. Some restaurants, if you see, inside the restaurant they use the red color. Why? They want them to leave soon so other people will come and sit down. McDonald's, one of the things that they did was this. Because they had a lot of people waiting at that time. They had to change it to red so people would leave soon so other people, it makes more money for them, right? Or if you wait and you leave, you say, oh, Islam says pay attention. Islam says pay attention to what? Pay attention to your children as well. Salawat ala Muhammad. She doesn't understand this thing. They don't understand that a lot of people sitting, there's this formal something, you know, they just have, they're fun. Rasul says, I love children because of some of their personalities. I want pool. She wants money. I'll give you that. Let's look at this. Islam says pay attention. One of the main things that brings happiness is color. Pay attention to color, right? What was the last time I went outside to the nature? I have to finish soon. To the nature, and I look at the nature, look at the flower, look at the tree, look at Alhamdulillah, look at the... Feel happy because of that, you know? So one of the important things we have to pay attention is this type of things. Anything that it goes against shar, that brings what? Negativity. Anything is according to Allah and Islam, that brings what? Happiness to us, you know? Salawat ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. They said, "An-nazr ila wajh al-mu'min al-ibadah." Looking at the face of mu'min is ibadah. Ibadah, one part of it is sabab, another part of it, ibadah brings blessings and happiness to you. Looking at the face of your parents, that's ibadah. We talked about this. Looking at the face of your parents, inshallah, those people who have their parents, take advantage of that. Looking at the face of your parents with muhabba, they have this qaid with muhabba. They have the hadith, I think I recited for you. It says, it's equal to one hajj maqbool. Each look at your face of your parents with kind look, it's equal to hajj maqbool. Hajj maqbool is what? Accepted hajj. Because you can't go hajj, but Allah knows if you will be accepted or not. And asked Rasulullah, they said, what if we look 1,000 times? They says, even if you look 1,000 times, Allah give you the sawab of 1,000 hajj maqbool. That brings happiness. I look at my family's face. Let's be happy. When you see each other, when you know, the man comes home, the woman comes home, doesn't matter. Go greet each other with a nice smile on the face, happy face. Assalamu alaikum, how's were there? Even despite the difficulties. Not that as soon as man comes home, Assalamu alaikum. I'm hungry. What do we have? Is the chai is ready? We'll go to the restaurant. Do you think Ahlul Bayt, they were greeting each other at the door like this as well? No. These are the few things that brings the good. And then imagine your children are standing and looking at you. Because some people say, no, in front of our children, we shouldn't show any type of lightness or happiness or anything, love with it. Rasulullah bent down and kissed the hand of the Zahra for the family. Everybody's there. Rasulullah said, everybody's around. They're showing the love, and then children are standing. If you want your daughter to do the same thing with her husband, to have a nice life, not divorce, na'udhu billah. If you want your son to treat someone else's daughter and sister nicely so they won't end up coming to my office, role modeling. Do these things in front of them. Do these things. So they see that this is all these things. And he sees that in some movies how parents or how couples are treating each other, how in the house they're treating each other. Inshallah, we'll go a little bit further and give more example. We're not there yet, inshallah. But as I said, inshallah, finish here. What do I say, inshallah? We'll continue this topic, the topic of happiness, paying attention. Islam paid attention. Islam says mu'min should be happy. Islam says in this dunya, Allah, once again, remember Allah, we're the ibadah of Allah. We are the children of Allah. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to be cheerful. One of the way that you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His favors is to be happy, inshallah, and use the favors of Allah towards the way that He would be satisfied. If you use it against His will in something na'udhu billah haram, this is negative happiness. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us, inshallah, tawfiq and opportunity. We ask Him, Ya Allah, for the sake of Ahlul Bayt, Rasulullah, hasten in the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi. Ya Allah, make all of us happy, and the ummah, and everyone happy by the zuhur of our Imam Mahdi. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, anyone in this dunya who has difficulties, problem, sadness, Ya Allah, make them happy at this moment. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, I have to say this hadith. There is a hadith that Rasulullah says, there is a room, there is a section in Jannah, they call it the house of joy, or joyfulness. It says, what is this? Rasulullah says, only people go to this house that make children happy. Only people that make children happy, they can go into the house of joy and joyfulness. Ya Allah, make us and our families, inshallah, by your, inshallah, blessings, always happy. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, give us tawfiq and opportunity to be among the true followers of Ahlul Bayt. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, make our happiness in following Islam and the path of Ahlul Bayt. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, whoever is around the world, they have difficulties, problem, Ya Allah, in the brothers and sisters in Yemen, in Bahrain, and all around the world, for the sake of Ahlul Bayt, provide opportunities for their freedom. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, those people that are sick, specifically from the community and any of the relatives of our community, please cure them all at this moment. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, those who passed away, send the thawab and reward out of this majlis to their soul. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة زهرة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا أبا محمد الحسن بن علي، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجن سيدي، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
You like that? See you again. पढ़ने वाला है अच्छा दोबारा पढ़ने वाला है You like this? Yeah.